The modern Christmas you know and love was born on a battlefield. Not of swords, but of ideas. Long before Santa Claus, decorated trees, or greeting cards existed, the heart of England beat to the rhythm of Yule, a pagan festival of fire, foliage, and awe, where a giant log was burned for 12 days as an oath that the light would return. But the story of the English Christmas is a saga of survival. It survived the arrival of Christianity, which absorbed the ancient symbols, holly, mistletoe, instead of destroying them. It survived the wild and unruly medieval debauchery of feasting and role reversal. And, crucially, it survived the Puritan prohibition in the 17th century, when it was completely banned and persecuted as a sin. So how did a proscribed holiday become the world's most beloved celebration? The answer lies in the fog and streets of 19th century London and in the pen of one man, Charles Dickens. Through the Ghosts of a Christmas Carol, he not only redeemed Ebenezer Scrooge, but reinvented the soul of Christmas, transforming it from a wild festival into a beacon of compassion and family warmth. On this journey, we will uncover how England intertwined the sacred, the folkloric, and the literary to create the holiday that the whole world imitates. From fortune cookies exploding on the table to the solemn sounds of church bells in Cambridge, to the bad luck of leaving the decorations up after Twelfth Night, discover the cultural legacy that transforms every English home into a time machine. English Christmas is not just celebrated. It is remembered, reinvented, and preserved one fire lit at a time. Long before the name Christmas echoed through stone chapels and town halls, the English midwinter was a time of reverence, fear, and flame. In the depths of December, when the sun vanished early and the earth lay fallow, ancient Britons gathered around fires, not just for warmth, but for meaning. The earliest roots of English Christmas lie buried in pre-Christian solstice festivals, especially Yule, a midwinter celebration marked by feasting, fire, and greenery. De Yule log today, a charming chocolate dessert, was once an enormous piece of wood, chosen with care, brought home on the solstice, and burned slowly over 12 days. Its embers were kept to kindle the following years, fire a sign that light would return, and with it, life. Holly and ivy were not decorations then. They were protection sacred plants, said to guard homes from evil spirits during the dark season. Mistletoe, growing high in the trees and harvested by druids with golden sickles, was a symbol of life's endurance. These were the signs of a world that watched nature carefully and understood the spiritual rhythms of death and rebirth. When Christianity arrived in England, it didn't erase these customs, it absorbed and reinterpreted them. The birth of Christ was fixed near the solstice. The old festivals were rebranded as holy days, and the evergreens of Yule became symbols of eternal life in Christ. It was a merging, not a replacement, and many of the customs we associate with Christmas today still carry these echoes of older fires. For centuries, the celebration of Christmas in England was wild and rowdy. The medieval Christmas was a time of feasts, masks, music, and lords became servants for a day. Villagers paraded through towns, singing and demanding food or drink in exchange for blessings, the early form of war. The season lasted for 12 full days, ending in Twelfth Night, filled with masquerades, riddles, and revelry. But this revelry came under attack during the Puritan period of the 17th century, when Christmas was seen not as sacred, but dangerously pagan. In 1647, the celebration of Christmas was banned by Parliament. Churches were closed, decorations forbidden, and anyone caught celebrating could be fined. Soldiers tore down holly from shop fronts and arrested curious. Yet, Christmas never truly died. It hid, surviving in villages and quiet homes, whispered in stories and saved in memory. When the monarchy was restored in 1660, the bans were lifted, but Christmas remained a muted echo of its former self, until one man helped it come alive again. That man was Charles Dickens. In 1843, Dickens published A Christmas Carol, a novella that didn't just tell a story, it resurrected a festival. Through the redemption of Ebenezer Scrooge, Dickens offered a vision of Christmas not as wild misrule or empty piety, but as a time for compassion, transformation, and human connection. The book was an instant success, and in its pages, many found a new way to see the old season, Dickens' impact cannot be overstated. He revived caroling, inspired charitable giving, and helped establish Christmas as a holiday focused on family, warmth, and moral reflection. His vision wasn't invented, it was a curated memory, a selective restoration of England, Esseri says traditions. From that point on, Christmas became deeply Victorian, shaped by ideals of domesticity, sentimentality, and moral purpose. The Christmas card was invented in 1843, the same year as A Christmas Carol. The Christmas tree, imported from Germany by Prince Albert, became a centerpiece. The feast was refined, less debauchery, more ceremony. By the end of the 19th century, England had crystallized what we now call the modern Christmas, a blend of pagan symbols, Christian theology, and Victorian aesthetics. It was gentle, respectable, and filled with tradition layered like snowflakes. And today, when an English family lights a Yule log candle, decorates with holly, or sings God Rest Ye Merry, gentlemen, they are not merely indulging in festivity, they are participating in a long, evolving story, one that began with ancient fires, was tested by history, and was reborn through storytelling. Because in England, Christmas is not just celebrated, it is remembered, it is reinvented, and above all, it is cherished one fireside at a time. In the heart of every English Christmas flickers the ghost of a man, not a saint, not a king, but a storyteller. Charles Dickens, with pen in hand and coal fire beside him, didn't merely write about Christmas. He reshaped its soul. And through his most famous work, A Christmas Carol, he carved into British culture a vision of the holiday as a time of reckoning, mercy, and human renewal. Published in December 1843, A Christmas Carol arrived not as a gentle tale, but as a cultural intervention. At the time, Christmas was fading, overshadowed by industrial hardship, changing calendars, and social inequality. Dickens saw not just a holiday in decline, but a moral opportunity. And through the cold-hearted figure of Ebenezer Scrooge, he asked a question still haunting us today. What good is a season of light if we let others live in darkness? The story unfolds like a parable: three spirits, three visits, one man's soul. But its setting is deeply English. Fog-bound London streets, flickering gas lamps, humble parlors warmed by fire, and bustling market stalls with geese hanging in windows. Dickens created a world both intimate and universal, grounded in the sensory rhythms of a Victorian Christmas. But it wasn't the setting that made the story endure. It was its message. Scrooge's transformation from miserliness to generosity became a symbol not just of individual redemption, but of collective responsibility. Dickens challenged his readers to look beyond the wreaths and roast dinners, to notice the Cratchits of the world, families holding on to dignity despite poverty, kindness blooming in harsh places. Through this lens, Christmas was no longer just a celebration. It became a call to conscience. The book was an instant success. It sold out its first printing in days and was adapted for the stage within weeks. But more than commercial triumph, it triggered something deeper. In the years that followed, charitable giving rose across England during the holidays. Factories began offering days off. Churches revived Christmas services, and families inspired by Dickens' vision began creating traditions that honored not just festivity, but compassion. In many ways, A Christmas Carol became a secular scripture. Its language entered common speech. Bah! Humbug. For cynicism, Merry Christmas as a warm greeting, and God bless us, everyone, as a benediction for all. But Dickens didn't stop with one tale. His other Christmas stories, The Chimes, The Cricket on the Hearth, The Haunted Man, further explored the season's emotional and moral landscapes. In each, he returned to the idea that Christmas is a mirror. It reveals who we are, who we've been, and who we might yet become. And yet, for all its moral weight, Dickens never forgot joy. His Christmases are filled with laughter, games, music, and feasting. He understood that transformation does not come from shame, but from imagination, memory, and hope. That the most powerful change happens not through sermons, but through stories. Stories that stir us, challenge us, and then cradle us gently in their conclusion. Today, A Christmas Carol is more than literature. It is ritual. Every year, theaters across England mount new productions. Schools assign the book. Families gather to watch film versions from Alistair Sim to The Muppets. It is recited, reenacted, reimagined, but never forgotten. And what remains, always, is that central truth. Christmas is not merely a date. It is a chance to remember what we owe one another, to make amends, to choose kindness, to let go of fear, and walk toward the light. In England, where the bells still ring and the fires still burn, Dickens' ghosts walk among us not to haunt, but to guide. And every time someone chooses generosity over greed, warmth over withdrawal, or forgiveness over pride, a bit of Scrooge's redemption lives on, because in the end, that is Dickens' greatest gift he gave England, and the world, a story that saves us all. If only we are willing to listen. If Christmas in England had a sound, it would begin softly with the distant chime of church bells across a sleeping village, or the rustle of hymn books in a cold chapel. Then, a voice rises, clear, steady, reverent. Soon, another joins, and then, a chorus. This is how English Christmas carols live, not as background noise, but as invitations to belong. Caroling in England is not just about music. It is about ritual, place, and memory. It's about the echo of human voice against stone walls, the flicker of candlelight in stained glass, the sight of neighbors standing shoulder to shoulder, singing the same songs sung for centuries. The tradition goes back as far as the Middle Ages, when carols weren't limited to Christmas, but marked various seasons and holy days. Early carols were often circular dances, communal songs sung in open spaces, joyful and repetitive, designed for easy participation. The word carol itself likely comes from the French carol, a type of ring dance, suggesting that music and movement were once deeply intertwined in festive tradition. By the 19th century, with the rise of the Victorian Christmas, carols took on a more sacred and structured form. They moved from fields to churches, from folk melodies to organ-backed hymns. And in this setting, many of the beloved carols we know today were either written, translated, or revived. Take Hark, the Herald Angels Sing, or O Come All the Faithful, both of which became fixtures of Christmas services and school programs. Or God Rest the Merry Gentlemen, which Dickens himself quotes in A Christmas Carol, embedding it forever in the season's soundscape. These carols are not just songs, they are seasonal anchors, familiar and full of emotional texture. But no event captures the spiritual resonance of English caroling more than the annual Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols held on Christmas Eve at King's College Chapel in Cambridge, broadcast to millions around the world. This service combines 9 biblical readings with anthems and carols performed by a world-renowned boys' choir. The service opens, always, with a single voice singing Once in Royal David's City. It is a moment of profound stillness, a child's voice breaking the dark, calling the world to remember, to hope, to listen. Throughout towns and villages, other services mirror this rhythm. Candlelight carol services fill chapels with soft gold. Choirs perform beneath Gothic arches, their breath visible in the unheated nave. School children don paper crowns and sing for parents seated on creaking pews. In more secular spaces, carolers gather in high streets, singing beside brass bands, collecting coins for charity in exchange for a verse or two of the Holly and the Ivy. And in homes, the tradition continues. Families gather around pianos or Bluetooth speakers. Grandparents teach younger generations the verses of In the Bleak Midwinter, a song whose lyrics, written by English poet Christina Rossetti, perfectly capture the soul of the English winter. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, in the bleak midwinter, long ago. It's not just about performance, it's about remembrance. About entering a space where everyone's voice matters, where harmony is built not from perfection, but from participation. And then there are the bells. Church bells play a special role in the English Christmas, in cities and countryside alike. The ringing of bells marks sacred time, whether it is the slow toll of midnight on Christmas Eve or the jubilant peal on Christmas morning. The bells serve as audible light, a way to awaken the heart, to announce something holy, to remind the community. The light has returned. Some churches feature full bell choirs, performing carols, with handbells, each ringer responsible for a few notes, together forming melodies that rise like smoke into the rafters. Others maintain ancient bell towers, where change ringers climb narrow staircases and pull ropes in carefully timed sequences, creating the cascading sound that is uniquely English. The combination of carols and bells, of voice and chime, becomes a kind of conversation with the past. When people sing these songs, they are standing with ancestors, sharing the same words, the same melodies, the same longing for peace in the dark of winter. And perhaps that is what makes English Christmas music so powerful, its ability to hold both celebration and stillness, to be both humble and majestic, to gather strangers into a kind of temporary family of sound. Because in England, the season is not loud, it is resonant, not boastful, but beautiful. And when the last carol fades, when the bells go silent and the candles go out, what remains is not the echo, but the feeling. The English Christmas table is not only a place for food, it is a stage, a setting where centuries of tradition, wit, and ritual come to life. Here, the meal is a ceremony, filled with familiar rhythms and tiny details that, together, create the comforting, unmistakable experience of a truly British holiday. It begins, often, with a cracker. Laid across each plate or beside each napkin, these festive cylinders wrapped in colored foil and tied like oversized candies are as essential to the meal as the roast itself. Two people each take an end and pull. There's a small pop, a wisp of powder-scented smoke, and out tumbles a paper crown, a tiny toy or trinket, and a joke grown worthy, intentionally corny, and always read aloud with theatrical flair. What do you call a cat on the beach at Christmas? The paper crowns, usually in jewel tones and slightly askew on heads of all ages, are a rare equalizer. In this moment, everyone becomes part of the story, young or old. Pose or rumble gathered not for formality, but for warmth. Then comes the feast. Unlike some cultures where Christmas Eve holds the culinary spotlight, in England, it's Christmas Day that reigns a meal served hearty enough to carry a household well into the evening. At the center of the table, a roast. While turkey has become standard since the 20th century, older families still serve goose, and some opt for beef or ham. Regardless of the main, the trimmings are where tradition truly shines. Roast potatoes, crispy on the outside and soft in the center, are sacred. Paired with Brussels sprouts, often pan-fried with bacon or chestnuts, they create the iconic English plate. There's also parsnips glazed with honey, carrots, and occasionally Swede mash. Stuffing, though less herbaceous than American varieties, is rich and earthy, often made with pork, sage, and onion. Everything is accompanied by thick gravy, cranberry sauce, and, in the case of beef, a dollop of horseradish. One of the most beloved traditions is the serving of Yorkshire puddings light, airy batter cups that soak up sauces like edible clouds. Though traditionally paired with beef, many households have adopted them as a staple regardless of the meat. There is also the more recent addition of pigs in blankets, small sausages wrapped in bacon, a crowd favorite on most modern tables. But no English Christmas meal is complete without the star of the finale, the Christmas pudding. Dark, rich, and full of soaked fruit, this steamed dessert is a relic of medieval feasting. Weeks, sometimes months in advance, families stir up the batter, each member making a wish as they mix. Once cooked, the pudding is aged, then reheated and doused in brandy, set alight just before serving. The blue flames dance across its glossy surface as the room quiets in awe, often served with brandy butter, custard, or cream. It's a dense reminder of the season's depth and legacy. There's also Christmas cake, a spiced fruitcake covered in marzipan and royal icing, often decorated with tiny reindeer or holly sprigs, and mince pies, filled with dried fruit and spices, no longer actual meat, dusted with sugar and served warm beside a cup of strong black tea. Because tea, in England, is more than a drink. It is a punctuation mark, the pause after laughter, the comfort after chaos. After the meal, cups are filled, and families settle into sofas, pulling blankets across laps. It's time for games, like charades or board games. Or for the King's Christmas speech, BROADCASD, at 3 p.m. my national moment of reflection, heard in living rooms from Kent to Cumbria. The post-dinner hours are quiet but full. Children nap or build with new toys. Adults flip through books or nibble on second helpings. Outside, the early evening darkens the windows, but inside the house glows with low light, full bellies, and shared presents. And through it all, the meal, the tea, the crackers, the music runs a sense of continuity. This is how Christmas has always been. Not because it's perfect, but because it's predictable. It's a holiday that asks for nothing new, only that you show up, play your part, and remember the joy of being together. Because in England, Christmas is not just celebrated at the table. It is the table, a place of offering, a place of ritual, a place where everyone, crowned in paper and holding a warm mug, belongs. If you're enjoying it, engage with us, share your thoughts in the comments, and follow world traditions so we can keep creating more videos. To walk through an English high street in December is to enter a world both timeless and theatrical, where lights glow above cobbled pavements, where shop windows glisten like storybooks, and where the air, crisp and heavy with the scent of mulled wine and roast chestnuts, feels charged with memory. Unlike the grandeur of continental Christmas markets or the hypermodern bustle of England's holiday shopping season is built on something more subtle. Charm, the kind of charm that lives in window panes fogged with breath and garlands, strung from gas lamps and handwritten signs announcing wool scarves, 2 for 10, and in the familiar jingle of the same Christmas song played lovingly or wearily by every store. In towns like Bath, York, or Canterbury, the architecture itself becomes part of the story. Medieval timbered shops, Georgian facades, and Victorian arcades are adorned with twinkling lights, evergreens, and ribbons of red velvet. Each storefront seems to compete not with scale, but with sincerity. Who can create the warmest glow, the most inviting vignette? And at the heart of this visual language is the Christmas window, a miniature world behind glass, carefully curated to invite wonder. Major department stores like Selfridges and Liberty London treat their windows as art installations, revealing each year's theme with anticipation and press coverage. One year might bring enchanted forests, the next mechanical mice, snow-dusted locomotives, or scenes from classic tales like Peter Pan or the Nutcracker. Children press their faces to the glass. Couples linger, pointing out details. For a moment, the entire city slows to gaze. These displays are not merely commerce. They are nostalgia machines, conjuring memories of childhood, of being lifted to see better, of mittened hands gripping shopping bags, of fairy lights reflected in the eyes of someone you love. Beyond the large cities, England's market towns also transform. Weekly markets give way to Christmas fairs, where wooden chalets sell handmade gifts, local cheeses, and seasonal crafts. You can sip mulled cider, taste mince pies, or find a perfect ornament made from wool, glass, or carved wood. Brass bands play carols. School choirs perform on steps. There's laughter, bargaining, and sometimes even snow, not enough to disrupt, just enough to dust everything in magic. The shops themselves, many family-owned for generations, become part of a ritual route. You pop into the stationer for cards, the sweet shop for ribbon candy, the butcher for sausage rolls. Everyone knows your name. Everyone wishes you Happy Christmas. This phrase, used more commonly than Merry Christmas in England, holds a gentler, older grace, like a wish whispered across time. But it is not just what you see that defines the English high street at Christmas. It is what you feel, the slowness of it, the intention. While Black Friday sales and online orders hum in the background, there remains a quiet pride in choosing gifts from shelves, in supporting local businesses, in carrying brown paper parcels tied with string. And let's not forget the charity shops, a distinctly British institution. During the holiday season, they become treasure troves of old books, vintage decorations, and surprises found between dusty shelves. Each purchase supports a cause, and volunteers dress the windows with second-hand splendor, glass angels, woolen stockings, porcelain Santas once cherished, now in the evenings. the scene changes again. The high street glows not with neon, but with warm yellow light. Lanterns sway in the breeze. Shop doors close early, so families can attend carol services or curl up at home. Yet the streets still buzz. People linger, holding warm drinks and takeaway cups, sharing one more laugh, one more errand. This atmosphere, this layering of light, memory, music, and movement is what makes English cities and towns so enduringly festive. It's not spectacle, it's intimacy scaled to community. A sense that, despite everything, the world is still gentle. That wonder is still accessible. That joy is still personal. In a time when digital screens dominate, these decorated streets remind us of something older, truer, that the human heart responds most deeply not to dazzle, but to invitation. And every English high street in December is an open door inviting you to slow down, to look closely, and to remember. This season is not about getting, it is about gathering. As the English Christmas season unfolds, it stretches far beyond December 25th. In fact, the true end of Christmas in England, especially in its older traditions, is not the day after Boxing Day, but 12th night, a night of mystery, mirth, and memory that arrives 12 days after Christmas on January 5th. It is here that ritual meets folklore, and the season bids farewell not with finality, but with a lingering sense of magic. 12th night once held as much weight as Christmas Day itself. In the medieval and Elizabethan eras, it marked the culmination of the festive cycle, a time when roles were reversed, hierarchies appended, and communities engaged in a final burst of celebration before the long winter resumed. It was, in essence, a final toast to chaos before order returned. Traditionally, the night was marked by games, songs, and masquerades. A 12th night cake, a precursor to the modern Christmas cake, was baked with a bean or pea hidden inside. The person who found it would be crowned the Lord or Lady of Mithril, presiding over the evening's merriment, regardless of their status. This symbolic reversal allowed for laughter, improbation, and storytelling, all in the spirit of temporary liberation. Though this tradition faded in the 19th century, echoes remain. Some families still bake special cakes. Some rural towns hold wassailing rituals, where groups sing to orchards to bless them for the coming year, a tradition rooted in both pagan and Christian agrarian customs. People drink spiced ale, light bonfires, and offer toasts to trees, land, and ancestors. One of the most poetic 12th night customs is the removal of decorations. In modern England, the superstition goes that leaving Christmas decorations up beyond January 6th brings bad luck. And so, on 12th night, or the morning after, households carefully take down the cards, the baubles, the evergreens. But it's not a chore. It's a quiet ritual, an acknowledgement that the season has passed, that the light must now come from within. In churches, Epiphany services close the season. The Magi, represented by the three kings, arrive in nativity scenes. Incense may be burned, hymns are sung, and with this sacred moment, Christmas transitions from a festival of birth to a season of spiritual journey. But even older than the church traditions are the symbols embedded in English nature: the holly and ivy, evergreens that long predate Christianity, symbolizing resilience and renewal. In some English folk traditions, holly represents masculinity and ivy femininity. Together, they are a balance, a reminder that winter is not an ending, but a resting. And so the season closes as it began, with symbolism, storytelling, and small acts charged with meaning. There's a certain sadness to this part of the season. The lights dim, the streets quiet. The scent of cinnamon fades. Yet for many English families, there is also relief. A return to rhythm, the knowledge that what was needed has been given: food, company, reflection, beauty. In some households, a final toast is made on 12th night. It might be small, a glass of wine or cup of tea raised in gratitude, but it carries the full weight of the season to the year just past. To the ones who joined us, to the ones we missed, to the warmth we created, and the warmth we'll carry forward. In Shakespeare's time, Twelfth Night was a night of theater of illusion and emotion. His play Twelfth Night speaks of disguise, confusion, and ultimately, reunion. It is a fitting metaphor for the season itself, a period where we step briefly into another world, play our parts, feel deeply, and then gently return to ourselves. Because in England, the end of Christmas is not a door closing, it is a curtain drawing back, revealing life as it was, still waiting for us, softened by light, sweetened by memory. As the final ribbons are folded away and the last ornament returns to its box, the English Christmas does not vanish. It lingers not in decorations or fanfare, but in something quieter, deeper, the heart. For in England, Christmas is not just a holiday. It is a rhythm of remembering, an emotional season etched into the very architecture of daily life. It is in the old biscuit tin, now empty, still carrying the scent of ginger and cinnamon. It is in the faint echo of a carol hummed absent-mindedly while washing dishes. It is in the paper crown, half torn, tucked into the pages of a book, or slipped between the cushions of the sofa, a humble relic of laughter shared. Christmas in England endures, not through spectacle, but through gesture. A handwritten thank you note, a small act of kindness, a phone call to someone you haven't spoken to in too long. The holiday gently disperses into everyday acts, quietly shaping how people move through the cold, gray months that follow. And that is the truth of it. English Christmas is not only about celebration, it is about carrying light forward, about creating a flame that doesn't go out once the tree comes down. It's about warming the year ahead with memory, story, and humanity. You see it in the way people speak of Christmases past, not in terms of what they received, but in who was there. Which grandparent carved the roast, which cousin fell asleep during the Queen's speech, which child mistook icing sugar for snow and tried to catch it on their tongue. These are the details that linger, moments woven into family mythology. Even in times of hardship, Christmas in England has endured through wars, recessions, and personal loss, because it's never just been about the things we can buy. It's about the things we refuse to lose. The sound of church bells through fog, the taste of mince pies on a chilled morning, the hush of a candlelit room just before the first note of a carol, the feeling of coming home, even if only for a night. In the end, that's what defines the English Christmas most. Not its grandeur, but its grounding. It doesn't seek to dazzle or distract. It offers instead a kind of sacred steadiness, a sense that, for a few short weeks, we can be softer with each other, more attentive, more present. And though January arrives, and the frost remains, and the sky still dims early, something inside is shifted. The warmth remains in the stories told, in the rituals upheld, in the invisible threads between generations. Because Christmas in England is not something that ends. It is something you carry. In every quiet act of love, in every remembered melody, in every light you keep burning, long after the season has passed. If this journey through England's Christmas touched your heart, help us share the light, like this video, to keep these stories alive. Comment below where you're watching from, and tell us, what tradition do you hold closest? Subscribe to World Traditions and travel with us, one culture at a time, through the beautiful rituals that connect us all. Tomorrow, we continue the journey. But tonight, may the memory of English Christmas stay with you. Gentle, golden, and glowing.